to you.
Less pressure.
And I won't care what I do.
Exactly.
Who would notice? Hey, Michael.
She puts us all to shame.
Not me.
Looks like it's a little funny.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Welcome to this evening's service. And I am fortunate to be joined this evening by Julie Surmer and Eleanor Ackerman Rice. While the rabbi has returned from vacation, he's actually currently recovering from dental surgery, something that I would know nothing about. I welcome everyone here that has joined us in person and those that are connecting with us virtually this evening. This evening, we welcome the Sabbath, and we try to let go of whatever thoughts are keeping us tied to our prior week, whatever chaos may be getting in the way of our ability to be truly present. Let us allow our worries to drift away and allow our focus on the goodness that we bring into our lives when we take the extraordinary opportunity that Shabbat offers us, the rest, peace, and connection. And this evening, I will be announcing pages from our Shabbat-only Mishkan Tefillah. We turn to page 9.
Please join me at the bottom. We offer thanks, O God, for this Shabbat, which unites us in faith and hope, for Shabbat holiness, which inspires sacred living, for Shabbat memories glowing even in darkness, for Shabbat peace, born of friendship and love. We offer thanks and blessing, O God.
We welcome the Surmer Beard family up to light the candles, which are found on page 2 and 3. Page 2 or 3 in the pages should be right in there as well. Oh, please.
All right. Okay. Do you want to start reading?
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we in our own day be among those who kindle light.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu le'adlik ner shel Shabbat. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who hallows us with mitzvot and commands us to kindle the lights of Shabbat.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu l'adlik ner shel Shabbat. We turn to page 20 and 21, and we do verses 1, 2, 5, and 9. And when we get to the last verse, we all rise and face our entrance to welcome in the Shabbat. turn to page 145. We rise for Baruch on page 146. Page 147 in the Hebrew.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim, bechokma poteach she'arim, uvitvuna mishane itim, umachalif et hazmanim, umesader et hakochavim, b'mishmerotehem barakia kirtzono, borei yom v'layla, golel or mipnei choshech, v'choshech mipnei or, Uma'avir yom umevi laila, umavdil bein yom uvein laila, Adonai tzivaot shmo. El chai v'kayam tamid yimloch aleinu leolam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai, hama'ariv aravim.
Page 148.
Torah u'mitzvot
Shem Kivon Mahoto Leolam Abad. You may be seated. Page 150. Yahavta et Adonai Elohecha bechol levavcha ubechol nafshecha ubechol miotecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom alevavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibartam v'shivtecha b'veitecha uvlaktecha b'derech u'shakbecha uvkomecha u'kshartam lehot hayadecha v'hayu letotafot peineinecha u'ktavtam al mezuzot beitecha ubisharecha leman tizkeru basitem kol mitzvotai v'hitem kedoshim leloechem ani Adonai Eloechem asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim lihod lachem lelohim ani Adonai Eloechem emet. Page 153 in the English.
151 in
Sorry,
English.
151 in the English.
We worship the power that unites the universe, a promise of harmony for all.
Yet that
That
oneness eludes our grasp, as imperfection and evil abound.
Before our eyes, there is a vision of perfection, order, and goodness.
There is evil enough to break the heart. There is good enough to exalt the soul.
When will redemption come?
When we grant everyone what we claim for ourselves.
Long ago, we escaped the tyranny of Egypt. Our people saw the power of the Most High.
We learned God's presence redeems time and event, so we celebrate this power that makes for freedom. Kivad Adonai et Yaakov Golom Yad Chazak Mimenu Baruch Atah Adonai Shmo Yisrael. Now we go to page 153 in the English.
Give us a place to rest, O God. Shelter us in the long, soft evening shadows of your truth. You are true protection and safety. In your presence we find love and acceptance. Watch over us as we go forth. Prepare for us as we return. Spread over us your shelter of peace, over all we love, over our Jerusalem and yours.
Baruch atah Adonai, haborei sukkah shalom aleinu b'yakol amo Yisrael v'yal Yerushalayim. Amen. 154 V'shamru.
V'shamru b'nei Yisrael
rise for our central prayer on page 155, a vote. Adonai, Sefatai Tiftach, Uvia, Gitei Latecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu b'motenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzhak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el HaGadol HaGibor HaNorah, El Elyon, Gomer Chasadim HaTovim, V'koneh HaKol, V'zocher Chasdei Avot V'imahot, U'mivi Geula Livnei B'neihem, Leman Shemo B'Yahava, Melech Ozer, Moshiach Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, V'Yezrot Sarah. Atah Gibor Leolam Adonai, Mechayei Metim atah Rav L'Hoshia, Mashiv HaRuach U'morid HaGashem, Mechaper Chaim B'Chesed, Mechayei Metim B'Rachamim Rabim, Zomek Noflim V'Rofei Cholim, U'matir Asurim, U'mekayem Emunato, Lishenei Afar, Michamocha B'Gevorot, U'midon Melach, Melech Meimit U'mechayeh, U'masmiach Yeshua, V'ne'eman atah l'chayot metim, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayeh hametim. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, U'kdoshim b'chol yom ya'alu chasela, Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh. Page 158, 160.
May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may we all live in such a way that this day fulfill its promise.
Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat. Following page in the Hebrew.
Ritzei Adonai Eloheinu be'amcha Yisrael, utfilatam be'ahavat tekabel, uthi leratzon tamid avodat Yisrael amecha, el karov lechol korav, pnei el avadecha v'chonenu, shfoch ruchacha aleinu on the next page, v'techazena einenu b'shuvcha l'tzion barachamim, Baruch atah Adonai, hamachazir shchinato l'tzion. And we continue in English at the top of the next page. For the good in us, which calls us to a better life, we give thanks.
For the strength to improve the world with our hearts and our hands, we offer praise.
For the desire in us which leads us to work for peace, we are grateful.
For life and nature, harmony and beauty, for the hope of tomorrow, all praise to the source of being.
We turn to our prayer for peace on page 164.
And you may be seated. Sorry, we forgot. Oops, wrong key. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael
Adonai Mevarech et Amo Yisrael b'shalom. We'll now take a few moments for silent prayer, meditation. We take a moment now to offer a Misha Beirach, prayer for anyone that may be in need of healing physically, emotionally, or spiritually. If you have the name of a loved one of whom our healing prayer may bring comfort, you may say their names out loud or hold them in your heart at this time. Please join us on page 253 with our prayer for healing. We also have this coming month the Rosh Chodesh, and because it will be Rosh Chodesh this coming week, well, we always have it this coming month, but this coming week we will have Rosh Chodesh, and so we do the prayer for Rosh Chodesh, which can be found on page 261. Yehi ratzon mefanach Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'imotenu shetchadesh aleinu et hachodesh haba letova livracha shetchadesh aleinu et hachodesh haba letova v'livracha v'titan lanu chayim arokim chayim shel shalom chayim shel parnasah chayim shetehevanu, avat toratim v'yirat shamayim, hayim shemilu mishalon libenu letova. Amen. Our God and God of our ancestors, may the new month bring us goodness and blessing. May we have long life, peace, and prosperity, a life exalted by love of Torah and reverence for the divine, a life in which the longings of our hearts are fulfilled for good. Rosh Chodesh Shevat Yeh b'yom chamishi. The new month of Shevat will begin on Wednesday evening to Thursday. We now will turn to A blessing for our hostages.
In honor of Emily Damari, Romy Gonen, and Doron Steinbrecher, and if all goes well, 4 more tomorrow, we offer this blessing. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam matir asurim. Praised are you, God, who frees the captive.
Our Devar Torah will be delivered, thank goodness, this evening by Julie.
I recently saw the movie A Real Pain, which was written and directed by Jesse Eisenberg. He also starred in the film alongside Kieran Culkin, who just yesterday was nominated for an Oscar for his performance. These 2 actors portray David and Benji, 2 polar opposite cousins united by their grief over the loss of their grandmother, who was a Holocaust survivor. In an attempt to connect with both her and with each other, they join a Jewish heritage trip to Poland, where they tour the memorial of the Warsaw Ghetto Uprising, the concentration camp Majdanek, and the building where their grandmother grew up. Through both touching moments and lighthearted humor, we watch these 2 American millennials honor their grandmother's legacy by grappling with a Jewish story so different from their own. In some ways, watching this movie was like watching myself on screen. I too am a millennial, born in Canada, raised in relative comfort and freedom. But at the same time, my grandparents were Holocaust survivors, and my parents came to this country as refugees after escaping communist anti-Semitic Eastern Europe. I carry this reality of discrimination and survival as an integral component of who I am, despite the fact that it is not my lived experience. These 2 seemingly opposing identities coexist, and they are the lens through which I see the other. It's a legacy that I hope to pass on to my children as part of their family story and identity, though that is a little bit complicated since I have both biological and stepchildren. I remember an incident that has now become family lore. It was about 2 years into my relationship with my now husband, and we were all at a Surmer family Hanukkah party, where my daughter Carly was introduced to my great-aunt Marienka. When Carly mentioned she was 14, Marienka replied, "Oh, when I was 14, I was in Auschwitz." Carly was shell-shocked. It was her first time up close and personal with a survivor, her first time comparing her life with that of someone who lived through the Holocaust. My reaction when she told me what happened? I just shrugged and said, "Yeah, I was used to this. I've always known that my grandparents were Holocaust survivors. In fact, I have no idea when I first learned the word Holocaust. Their stories were a part of my story, and they felt relevant and real, despite being worlds apart from my day-to-day life. For my children, and for others of their age group, the distinction between their own lives and those of previous generations is far more stark. They are 3 or even 4 generations removed from the survivors, and most will never meet one. They have grown up in the golden age of North America and don't believe that anti-Semitism is their issue. Most typically know very little about the history of anti-Semitism, and they underestimate its cyclical nature. Between the existence and military might of Israel, the career success of many North American Jews that has led to wealth and influence, and current examinations of white privilege, many young Jews see themselves as having the role of supporting others who are oppressed, not as victims themselves. Up until recently, they didn't identify with the fear that one day this could all change for them. And as a result, this current surge in anti-Semitism, which has been felt acutely on social media and in public schools and universities, has been shocking and scary to many. Reconciling the simultaneous existence of Jewish power and Jewish victimhood is new in our history. For previous generations, the trauma of victimhood felt far more real. For today's generation, Jewish power and privilege feels far more familiar. With International Holocaust Remembrance Day approaching on Monday, this year commemorating the 80th anniversary of the liberation of Auschwitz, it is particularly pressing that we examine how the Holocaust will be memorialized by current and future generations of Jews. The fact is that the further away we get from the era of the Holocaust, the less real it will feel for our young people. Beyond just their own connection, or lack thereof, nationwide studies of Canadians and Americans under the age of 40 have shown a disturbing lack of knowledge about the basic details of the Holocaust, including who the victims were and how many were killed. There has also been an explosion of Holocaust denial and distortion online and elsewhere. This means that our children are inheriting a world in which the legitimacy of Jewish history and Jewish experience is called into question. And soon, we will have lost all of the survivors who can bear witness. The challenge that is before us is to raise Jewish children who are able to claim the Holocaust as their story. In Hebrew, there is no real word for history. The word used colloquially is historia, which has been borrowed from English. The word traditionally used is zachor, or memory. This quirk of language offers a profound insight into the Jewish approach to events that took place in the past. As Jews, we don't have a history. What we have instead is a collective memory. Think about it. We're taught that all Jews, past, present, and future, Jews by birth and Jews by choice, were all there at Sinai to receive the 10 Commandments. And in the Haggadah, we read that every generation is to feel as though they were freed from Egypt. Every event in our past becomes a part of our collective Jewish experience. We internalize it as part of our own personal life story, whether or not we were actually there. This is the goal of Jewish education more broadly, and anti-Semitism and Holocaust education more specifically, to enable young Jews to claim, this is my story. I am a part of the story. I am the continuation of the story. On the one hand, this is a terrible burden to place on our children. To say that they were born Jewish and therefore they have the obligation to carry this weight and bear the responsibility of never forget. On the other hand, every Jewish baby born inherits a remarkable legacy of resilience and survival, one that we can learn from, draw strength from, and be incredibly proud of. Bruce Feiler, in his book, The Secrets of Happy Families, teaches that a key to a child's confidence is knowledge of their family story. Important information about where their family is from, and seemingly insignificant details, like where their parents went to high school, helps ground a child in something larger than themselves, and therefore equips them to face challenges. Furthermore, there are different shapes of narratives. An ascending narrative says that we came from nothing and achieved success. A descending narrative says that we had it all and then lost everything. Then there's the oscillating narrative, the one that says that we've had both ups and downs and back again, and we stuck together as a family through it all. Feiler teaches that it is the oscillating narrative, full of achievement, struggle, and overcoming odds together, that is the family story that builds the most resilience in children. This shows that the approach of teaching our Jewish history as not only a national story, but also a personal story, and teaching it as an oscillating narrative, will not only build Jewish identity, but Jewish strength and resilience. The question is, how do we remember the Holocaust in a way that enables future generations of Jews to talk about it as their story? Fortunately, as Jews, we're very good at this. And so all we need to do is look to our other holidays for guidance. What is every Jewish holiday? Say it with me. They tried to kill us, we won, let's eat, right? It's funny because it's true. But this saying is not only a joke. It's a remarkably accurate reflection of how we actually celebrate holidays. And it provides an ingenious formula for how all commemoration should be structured. So let's examine this three-pronged approach. Part 1, they tried to kill us. We need to acknowledge the struggle and the suffering by telling the story of what happened to us. Part 2, we won. We celebrate our survival, and we are grateful to God for saving us and to the human courage and ingenuity that enabled us to defeat our foe. Lastly, we eat. We have ritual foods, activities, candles, and other symbols that help us to feel the story and internalize its messages. So if we were to revolutionize our Yom HaShoah observance for a new generation, what would that look like? Let's break it down. Prong 1, telling the story. This is the part we seem to be best at. The question is how to do it in a way that is appropriate for all ages. Again, all we need to do is learn from ourselves. When you think about it, the Chanukah, Purim, and Pesach stories are not appropriate for children. And yet, I know exactly how to explain slavery to toddlers. I even have a silly song with actions to help me do it. But the thing we all need to remember is that singing, for it's work, 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 every day and every night, doesn't diminish the horrors of slavery. It simply makes it accessible to a younger audience. We're used to the Torah or the Haggadah or Megillat Esther that we read every year, and each time we do, we read it with fresh eyes and we learn something new. Perhaps it's time that we wrote a Megillat HaShoah or a Megillat Anti-Semitism that tells our story in a way that is adaptable for different ages and can be read or even sung year after year so that we keep learning as we keep reading. What about the second prong, celebrating our survival? This one I'd say we're only okay at, but it's a crucial component of our storytelling, especially when talking to young people. The lessons that we learn from the Holocaust are not only about the dangers of hateful ideology and passivity in the face of injustice. The lessons are also about strength, courage, and resilience. It's these lessons that help our children to be proud of the legacy that they are inheriting, and to understand that anti-Semitism is not what it means to be Jewish. Survival is. Furthermore, it is this emphasis on the positive that makes it palatable to also address the negative. My favorite piece of advice from all of the webinars I attended after October 7th about how to address the current moment with children came from Dr. Sivan Zakai, who was responding to concerns about not wanting to damage a child's innocence with too much terrible information. She said this: "The magic of children is not that they are blissfully ignorant. The magic of children is that when they learn about the darkness in this world, they still maintain hope for a better tomorrow." We need to have difficult conversations with our children in order to equip them to face the world around them. But then we shift our focus to fostering hope. Our kids can learn from the Holocaust to stand up to hate when they see it. And even our youngest children can be given agency by asking them, "What do you think you can do to make this world a kinder place for everyone?" A child shouldn't leave a conversation or a lesson or a program feeling sad or scared. Instead, they should feel proud, hopeful, and empowered. The final prong, eating, or shall we say ritual, is the one that we're not so good at when it comes to Holocaust commemoration. Let's take Pesach as our model. The Exodus from Egypt is arguably the most defining event in the Jewish narrative, despite the fact that we have no archaeological evidence that any of it actually took place. The journey from slavery to freedom and all of the accompanying values are ingrained in our collective psyche, making it the perfect example of the distinction I was making earlier between history and memory. It is also interesting to note that we use fairly general language to describe the experience of slavery compared to the specificity with which we describe the brutality of the Holocaust. On Pesach, we choose instead to eat bitter herbs to enhance our understanding. This demonstrates that teaching about what happened during the Holocaust and making the Holocaust part of our children's identity are two separate issues requiring different strategies. Furthermore, proximity to the event and detailed knowledge of the event are not the most important factors in helping Jews to feel like this is their story. For the Exodus, it is the presence of symbols and rituals that explore the messages and meaning of the story in a tangible yet non-traumatic way that fosters connection. The holiday feels even more personal when we use family recipes and ritual objects passed down through the generations. This is the missing piece of our Yom HaShoah observance. Let me give you a few examples of what that might look like. Again, let's look to ourselves for guidance. On Chanukah, we light a Chanukiah to illuminate the meaning of the holiday. Imagine the creation of a Yom HaShoah menorah in the shape of a Magen David, with a candle at each of the 6 points of the star. Each could have their own meaning. Perhaps the 3 candles on one triangle signify the loss of life, loss of culture, and loss of community. And the 3 candles on the other triangle represent heroism, allyship, and pride, with a shamash representing resilience that supports the lighting of all the other candles. Now imagine the Magen David in this menorah was yellow, because maybe, after 80 years, it's time to reclaim the yellow star. It was forced on previous generations as an identifier to harm them. Maybe future generations will be able to own that symbol as a way of declaring with strength and with pride, yes, I am a Jew. Let's take another example from Chanukah, the dreidel. It's a lighthearted game, yet also a recreation of the spinning top that the Jews pulled out to play when they needed to quickly hide the fact that they were studying Jewish books from the approaching Greek army. What is the Holocaust equivalent? What did Jews who were hiding or imprisoned in ghettos and camps do to maintain their sense of self? How can we turn that into an activity that kids can do, that can become, just like the dreidel game, a quintessential piece of Jewish childhood, one that both teaches and honors strength and resilience? And then there's my favorite, the Pesach Seder, the ritual meal that engages all 5 of our senses and teaches the holiday's themes in a way that is active and tangible. Maybe it's time for us to create a Yom HaShoah Seder. What foods would we eat to symbolize the struggle and survival? What objects would we place on our table? How would we dress? How would we sit? How would we engage each one of our diverse attendees? What songs would we sing and what stories would we tell year after year? How can we incorporate our own family stories into the broader Jewish narrative? How can we personalize it even further by using recipes, ritual objects, and artwork we've inherited from those that came before us? Identity development does not lie in the details. While knowledge and understanding comes from specific information, emotional connection is forged in symbols, meanings, values, and active participation. By ritualizing the themes of the Holocaust, we can make it relevant to everyone at all ages and stages, forming traditions that get passed down from generation to generation. Just like no Jewish kid can remember the first time they learned about slavery, our kids can grow up knowing that remembering the Holocaust and honoring the victims and survivors is part of the collective experience of being Jewish. And just like with everything else, as they get older, they'll learn more and more about exactly what that means. V'hi she'amda lavotenu v'lanu. That which stood for our ancestors applies to us as well. For it was not only one individual who stood up against us to destroy us. Rather, in every generation, they stand up against us to destroy us. But the Holy One, blessed be God, redeems us from their hands. The scourge of anti-Semitism is a huge weight on our shoulders. What we hope is to raise young Jews for whom this legacy is not the entirety of their Jewish identity, but is certainly a part. And it should be a mantle they wear with pride. In every generation, they stand up to destroy us, and in every generation, we survive. Am Yisrael Chai.
Wow. Yeshar Koach, Julie, that was an incredible sermon and a lot to think about, and hopefully for us to reconsider also the way that we observe our Yom HaShoah practice. Let's turn to page 282 as we rise for Aleinu. Aleinu l'shameach l'adon hakol, l'tekedu l'alioser breshit, shelo asanu k'goyei haratzot, v'lo samanu k'mishpachot adamah, shelo sam chelkeinu kahem, v'gor aleinu k'chol amonam, v'anachnu korim u'mishtachavim modim, livnei melech 285 in the English.
Let the time not be distant, O God, when all shall turn to you in love, when corruption and evil shall give way to integrity and goodness, when superstition shall no longer enslave the mind, nor idolatry blind the eye. O may all created in your image become one in spirit and one in friendship, forever united in your service. Then shall your realm be established on earth, and the word of your prophet fulfilled. Adonai will reign forever and ever.
You may be seated. Page 291. It is hard to sing of oneness when the world is not complete, when those who once brought wholeness to our life have gone, and naught but memory can fill the emptiness their passing leaves behind. But memory can tell us only what we were in company with those we loved. It cannot help us find what each of us alone must now become. Yet no one is really alone. Those who live no more echo still within our thoughts and words, and what they did is part of what we have become. We do best homage to our dead when we live our lives more fully, even in the shadow of our loss. For each of our lives is worth the life of the whole world. In each one is the breath of the ultimate one. In affirming the one, we affirm the worth of each one, whose life now ended brought us closer to the source of life, in whose unity no one is alone and everyone's life finds purpose. At this time, our congregation extends its sympathies to our members and their families who have suffered a recent loss. Zina Havelock on the loss of her cousin, Risha Zarzar. And please excuse any mispronunciations I may make, and please let me know so that I can correct them. We remember those whose yahrzeits we observe: Ray Singer Eisen, Izzy Bergstein, Leah Bernstein, Ben Borlak, Stanley Kaplan, Aria Cohen, Morton Mayer Cohen, Mary Coles, Helmer Dalheim, Muffet Davidson, Cecil Frankel, Fanny Gaum, Chaya Grossman, Verna Henriks, David Kanarak, Joseph Klatman, Jay Kleinhandler, Paul Michael Marco, Rita Mortimer, Anna Motik, Bill Nemton, Murray Pollock, Nathan Prasow, Marcia Rose, Faye Rosefield, Hella Rubenstein, Max Rubin, Vivian Schwartz, Charles Schuchet, Max Schwartz, Benjamin Ulster, Hilda Volks, Faye Weinstock, Gertrude Whittaker, John Whittaker, Gordon Wertzman, Harry Yudin, Matthew Zeitlin, Nikki Zitny. And we remember the Jews of our adopted town of Michle, Czech Republic: Lily Sergerova, Adela Sedlova, František Spiegel, Joseph Verba, and Irma Verbrova. And if you have the name that you may not have heard before listed, please, if you'd like to share that name out loud or hold them in your heart at this time. At this time, we also remember our armed forces that have perished overseas, our brothers and sisters in Eretz Yisrael that have died in so many wars, and all the innocent people in this world who have lost their loved ones to violence, conflict, and hatred, chaos of nature, or neglect. And those that are observing a yurtzeit this evening, please rise. And the congregation rises in support of our mourners. On page 294, Yit Gadal, V'yit Kadash, Shemei Rabbah, V'alma Tivarach Chirotei, V'yamlich Malchutei, V'chayechon, Uvyomechon, Uvchayei Dechol Beit Yisrael, V'agala Uvizman Kariv V'imru. Amen. Yehi Shemei Rabbah Mevorach Leolam Olamei Almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekudesha barichu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechamata da'amiran v'alma v'imru. Amen. Yehi Shema Rabba min Shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'yakol Yisrael, v'imru. Amen. Osei shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'yakol Yisrael, v'imru. Amen. You may be seated. Before we do the land acknowledgements, I'd like to call up Michael Mortimer for our evening's announcements.
On behalf of the board, Shabbat Shalom. At Temple Har Zion, we welcome everyone with diverse backgrounds and cultural traditions while we all hold fast to our shared Jewish values. Tomorrow at 9 a.m., breakfast and Torah study is with Karen Goodis. And as we do just ahead of every Rosh Chodesh, Shabbat, the choir singing tomorrow morning at 10:30, right? Very good. Morning minyan services are held via Zoom, Sundays at 9 a.m., Tuesdays and Thursdays at 7:15 a.m. Please also refer to the e-blast or go to the Har Zion website at harzion.ca for details and links for all of the many, many terrific upcoming programs, just like tonight's. Temple Har Zion is committed to supporting Israel in this unprecedented time of need. There's a dedicated page on our website with links to Israel bonds, donations, sites, programs, educational materials, and much, much more. Am Yisrael Chai, bring them home now. Our food drive continues. Please bring non-perishable food with you and put it in the food bins in the lobby labeled Food Bank of York Region. You can also make tax-deductible cash donations online. Our annual appeal continues. Many have given. Thank you so much for that. If you haven't given yet, there's still time. Please, again, go to the Har Zion website at harzion.ca and look up annual appeal. Welcome to our visitors. If you're interested in learning more about our temple, you can see me, Cantor Lippman, or our past president, Brina Taylor. I'm just reading. Put up your hand. So see any of us either up here or at the back after the service. We'll be happy to help you. If you're live streaming our service, welcome, and thank you for joining us. If you have questions, please email info@harzion.ca. Finally, thanks for being part of tonight and our community. It's where you belong.
We are situated on traditional territories and treaty lands. The territories include the Wendat, Anishinaabeg Nation, the Haudenosaunee Confederacy, the Mississaugas of the New Credit First Nations, and the Métis Nation. As Jews and as a community, may we always strive to fulfill our Jewish value of tzedek tirdof, the pursuit of justice in our society.
I would love to thank everyone that in the past few weeks has really stepped up and gone above and beyond in my absence as I was recovering. Thank you to everyone. I won't list any names because there's been too many of you, but certainly to Eleanor, thank you very much, and to Brina, who again will be leading with me tomorrow morning, as well as the choir. And Julie, thank you so much for joining this evening. I always love doing services with you. And now I know that your Devar Torahs are amazing, and you must do them on a more regular basis when we lead together.
Well, you gave me a microphone, so
Okay. And you had an important message. And thank you to Rico and Noah in the back on our sound system and tech, and to everyone that was here this evening. And we will close with...
So we're going to close with a song that we normally don't sing at this time of year. We're about a few weeks late. But the themes of this song are certainly relevant to some of the things we talked about tonight. And the composer of this song, Peter Yarrow, passed away a few weeks ago. And ever since, I've been feeling sentimental and been desperate to sing this song. So if you'll indulge me.
Page
We're going to-
367.
367, you will find Light One Candle.
Light one candle for the Maccabee children. Give thanks that their light didn't die. Light one candle for the pain they endured when their right to exist was denied. Light one candle for the terrible sacrifice justice and freedom demand. And light one candle for the wisdom to know when the peacemaker's time is at hand. Don't let the light go out. It's lasted for so many years. Don't let the light go out. Let it shine through our love and our tears. Don't let the light go out. It lasted for so many years. Don't let the light go out. Let it shine through our love and our tears. Light one candle for the strength that we need to never become our own foe. Light one candle for those who are suffering the pain we learned so long ago. Light one candle for all we believe in. Let anger not tear us apart. And light one candle to bind us together with peace as a song in our hearts. Don't let the light go out. It's lasted for so many years. Don't let the light go out. Let it shine through our love and our tears. Don't let the light go out. It's lasted for so many years. Don't let the light go out. Let it shine through our love and our tears. Don't let the light go out. Oh, you want to do the whole three? Okay. What is the memory that's valued so highly that we keep alive in that flame? What's the commitment to those who have died when we cry out they've not died in vain? We have come this far, always believing that justice will somehow prevail. And this is the burden, and this is the promise, and this is why we will not Shabbat,
Shabbat
shalom.
shalom.
Thank you.